Hello, my name is Bugless Bricks and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at how to iron your Lego capes. This video will be looking at probably like 2 or 3 methods on how to fix your capes if you're buying them secondhand and you notice that the capes are a little not what you want. These are some figures that I bought from a local antique store and they were fairly inexpensive and I got some really great deals. However, the capes were just not what I wanted, so I decided to film the process of what I usually do whenever I'm fixing up my capes. The first step of fixing your capes is to obviously disassemble the figures. For this, I just put the figures in piles, that way I know which pieces go to which. For this video, I will be using an iron on the lowest setting, which is labeled synthetic on my iron. To start off, I simply wet the cape either under the sink or I'll spray it with water, and I will iron it until it is dry. Something to note is that this method does not work on the spongy capes that are newer. This only works on the older style capes that are the stiffer, paper-like, starchy material. Something to note is that when you are ironing these, to make sure that you iron these until they are fully dry, make sure that they are starched up again whenever you are done, that they're able to maintain their shape. If you iron them and they start to curl, that means you didn't iron it long enough because it's probably still wet and that's why it's curling. This method does help a lot with deep and fine folds as well as fraying. However, if you have more severe damage on these capes, you will not have them fully restored, especially with deeper folds and fraying. Another thing to note is that if you have very bad damage on your capes, and even if you do iron it, it still might scar where the deepest part of the fold was. That happened to me with one of my capes. It had really bad folds and all that stuff, and even after ironing it, there was a scar on the cape where the deepest part of the fold was. It did flatten the cape, however, it wasn't fully fixed because the fold was just way too deep for even an iron to fix it. And the thing is, you can't have this on a very high setting because I don't think these are pretty much synthetic fabric, so I don't think you can even use a higher setting on the iron without risking burning these fabric capes. For those of you that don't have an iron at home, I did try this out with a steamer. I simply put the cape down, and I didn't have to wet it this time because the steam itself is water. So it did wet the cape pretty much automatically, so that was nice. However, getting it to the point where it was dry enough for it to stay still was a little difficult. What I did once the cape was fully ironed, and like still wet from the steam, I turned off the steam and then ironed it with the steam off, and that worked okay, but then I ended up going over it with the iron in the end, as you just saw. If neither of these methods are accessible for you, or you simply aren't able to get the supervision needed for using these devices that produce a lot of heat, you can also try the book method, where you just simply grab a napkin, wet the cape, put it on top of the napkin, put another napkin on top, and then put as many books as you can on top of it, leave it overnight or for 24 hours, and it should flatten a little bit. However, if you have a lot of severe folds and fraying, it is not going to fix that at all, really. It's just going to flatten the cape. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but if you have really bad fraying on your cape, the heat from the iron does help soften the frays a little bit on the cape. It doesn't get rid of it entirely, it just softens and minimizes it. At least from what I've noticed from capes that I've previously done, I've had really bad fraying on some capes, and it sort of softened up a little bit from the heat of the iron itself. Please keep in mind that all of these methods pretty much only are referencing starchy Lego capes. and starchy Lego fabrics. These are not meant for spongy capes or spongy fabrics made by Lego. These are just made for these starchy, really stiff fabrics that get crinkled very easily. So if you have a spongy fabric made by Lego, do not use any of these methods. You will most likely melt that fabric. If there was a method in this video that you found helpful or that you think needs some adjusting, or if there's simply something else that you do entirely on your own regarding damaged capes, I would love to hear what you have to say. I do also have a Lego art speed paint video planned. It's a digital art piece that I did based off of a, I guess a theme from the 2000s. I would love, if you have any guesses, I'd like to see. It's from an original Lego theme in the 2000s that I plan on showing you some artwork that I did. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video, and goodbye. Also, look at Snape glow in the dark. Awesome.